Touch your life. I wanna be the change. I'm gonna shine my light. I'm gonna make a difference. Touch your life. Be the change. Shine my light and make a difference. You're the one to make the world a much better place. You're the one. You're the one. Touching
Hello,
lives.
Nigeria, and welcome to Airtel Touching Lives. My name is Wana, and like Airtel, I'm passionate about making a difference and transforming lives. I invite you to join us as we travel across the country, meeting individuals, families, and communities who are going that extra mile to help those around them. In this episode, we visit Jude Munoyin to see how the Living Hope organization has progressed since appearing in season 1 of Touching Lives. And we meet the Climb with Remy team to explore their project. Dealing with HIV in Nigeria has been an enormous challenge and would not have been possible without the tireless efforts of many community workers. In season 1, we met Jude and his team of tireless volunteers. Now, despite their numerous challenges, they were still doing groundbreaking work to help HIV-positive people, giving them hope and a new reason to live. Let's take a look at their story.
Touching lives.
I am Jude Chimde Munonye from Afara Ibek in Umuahia local government area of Abia State, Nigeria. I'm one of the founding members of Living Hope organization. I'm HIV positive. I got employed through Ministry of Health by 1993. And by 1999, I was sick and was diagnosed to have HIV, which led me to lose my job because of stigma then. And there was no income for me to take care of myself and my health because there was no means of drug as of then. My family, my entire community, and my office people all abandoned me because of the fear of the stigma, because by then, whoever is being said to have HIV is not being allowed to communicate with anybody. So my family members and the entire community almost pushed me out of the community, and my family gave me a bit of my life. By 1999, we deemed it fit to start an organization, being the first and only people within this side of the country, Imo, Abia, and Deboin. There was no such a thing then. So my wife approached me that we need to do something. She was the main founder of this very Living Hope. Even by the name, she chose that name by which will be a living hope to other people.
Living Hope, as the name implies, is an organization, is a support group, anyway. When we started it with nothing. That time, what we were doing is this. If we have money, we buy beans. Beans was the only thing we could lay our hands on then. We share it to the members.
My name is Owama Nora Akudu. I'm from Imo State. I'm a graduate of computer science, and I'm the program and adherence officer of Living Hope organization. This center is our base where we meet monthly for our monthly meeting. So we want it to be completed so that we'll be meeting here and we'll be taking off from here to go for our outreach programs to meet other people that are also positive.
Almost every community, every local government needs a center. So we are lacking funds and resources now. One, to complete our centers and to reach various local governments to establish their own centers and units.
We applaud all the work that you're doing. It cannot be easy, trying to fight stigma and also support people at the same time. So we at Airtel want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
Of course, we also want to touch your life. and all your lives in some little way, because you have been touching so many people's lives on a daily basis, and we want to be able to support you in some way. Just give you our own little token. All right, so Airtel would like to supply you with 50 plastic chairs, 2 desktop computers, and a 32-inch television set. We're also going to renovate your building.
Thank you very much.
Touching lives.
Let's see how their lives have changed since appearing on Airtel Touching Lives.
Life was difficult for us before now because we don't have the resources to enable us to have an environment where we can hold our meeting perfectly to the betterment of our members that live with HIV in this very state, because there was no environment where we can relax, have some seat to discuss our problem and share our experiences.
Okay, what about the case where the man is positive and the woman is negative?
They gave us enough plastic chairs, which we sit comfortably during our meetings. Being a very sexy addict, just for 3 days, because she went to visit the guy that promised her marriage. Today also, Airtel helped us to renovate our building, our center. We have a nice environment now to stay. We have computer now where we can put our things we do, documented them, and have them day by day or month by month as we do our meetings. Today we have a testing whereby we conduct testing to other people, not mainly for our members. Anybody can access the testing site, the testing in the center to know your HIV status. Should you be positive on your choice, you join the group and we guide you on the way forward. There's not all food that gives you what you want as a person with HIV. In the kitchen, we have things, at times we demonstrate and teach our members, those that doesn't know aspect of the mixture of the spices or whatever they cook, how best to cook it so that we give you a very nutritional supplement in your body. Just to say thank you to Airtel Touching Life for how they touched us tremendously. Thank you, Airtel. We appreciate that Airtel have done tremendously for us. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. Airtel did marvelously well than we can think of. We say thank you.
Touching lives.
It warms my heart to see how Jude has taken something that could have been seen as a source of personal tragedy, turning it into a source of hope for thousands and thousands of people.
Touching lives.
Coming up after the break, we meet Remy, a woman who is changing the lives of displaced people right here in Nigeria.
Touching lives.
Climbing a mountain is no small feat, but Remy and her friends are climbing a mountain for a very important cause. Let's take a look at her story.
Touching lives.
A few months ago, I attempted the unthinkable. Well, to a few of my family and friends, it seemed both unthinkable and impossible. To be honest, they did have a few legitimate concerns, because after all, I was a mother, a 49-year-old mother of 5, planning to attempt a potentially risky adventure, to climb Mountain Kilimanjaro. My name is Remy Abere, and I'm the founder of Climb with Remy, which is a charity project attached to a cause. So basically, 6 women of a similar age, over 50, are climbing Mountain Kilimanjaro to raise awareness to the plight of the women and children in the IDP camps all over Nigeria. IDP meaning internally displaced persons. And basically, they're people who have been displaced by the Boko Haram war.
Climb with Remy is perhaps one of the most exciting projects I've had the privilege of working on. Remy is an amazing woman, and we were first of all thinking about how to how to do something that's going to impact, touch lives of women and children in these camps.
We're focusing on women and children because it's estimated that about 3.3 million people in IDP camps all over Nigeria, and 70% of these people are actually women and children. So we want to climb Kilimanjaro, which is the tallest mountain in Africa, often referred to as Africa's rooftop. We feel that by climbing a mountain, which is a challenge in itself, we're kind of identifying with the challenges that the internally displaced women and children are facing.
The whole rationale behind this project is to climb with these IDPs out of despair and into hope.
I mean, women and children that have been forced to live in very small spaces under terrible conditions in little huts.
You don't want to imagine it. Words will fail me. No matter how brilliant a writer I am, words will fail me in ways to describe what goes on there. First of all, these people were lounging like you and I in our homes, and then the next thing, you're forced to flee. And then you walk for miles, for days and days to find a peaceful place to rest. Some of these people trek for more than 20,000 feet to get to a place of comfort, to any of these camps.
It's really saddening because you see children that don't have clothes. The clothes they put on are all torn and dirty, and they've got no shoes, and they look malnourished, and it's really sad.
Going to the camps, it's despair. You smell despair. The smell of despair is very rancid. It's the pain is, I don't know. It's not something I can describe. You see kids, you see children, you see flies on children. You see a child, you know, that this child hasn't had a decent meal in like 3 days. You see a mother just giving birth to an infant and she can't breastfeed this baby because she herself is not nourished.
I mean, there's such a gap between some children who just probably have most of what they want and some children who have nothing. It's a terrible feeling, and it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. And I think we need to start evening the balance and doing something. If you have, you need to start giving back to people who don't. We're not asking for money donations, we're asking for product donations. So we're making this call to the public, manufacturing companies, anything, things like toiletries, beverages, food, bedding, whatever it takes to rehabilitate these women and children. Biscuits, I mean manufacturers of biscuits, please help out. Manufacturers of drinks, sanitary towels, all these things that women and children need to get by, the ordinary things that women and children need for day-to-day lives. That's what we need.
We're very interested in people bringing products and essential materials because we want these people to have a certain level of comfort until the government and other corporate organizations find a way to properly resettle them and rehabilitate them. But the goal is to actually get a lot of people involved to properly resettle these people. So it's not just about giving them products, milk, diapers, all this, but the ultimate goal is to get people who would say, okay, we're going to this city, we're going to this town, and we're going to help them rebuild. We're going to help these women resettle back into the lives that they were forced to live.
Let's tell people about what's going on in the camp so these people can tell people, manufacturing companies, to start donating towards helping these women and children.
Make noise about it, and somebody somewhere who has the power to really make a difference in their lives will hear you.
And I'm hoping we're going to help more and more people in the community and change people's lives.
Touching lives.
It's so wonderful to see Remi's generosity that she and her friends are going outside of their own experiences to impact the lives of others. After the break, we'll have Remi and James right here in the Airtel Touching Lives studio.
Touching lives.
Welcome back to Airtel Touching Lives. I'd like to welcome my guests, Remy and James of Climb with Remy. Thank you guys so much for being here. Very inspiring work that you're doing. I wanted to know, when I'm thinking of climbing, I'm thinking of, getting through hurdles. And there's sort of metaphor in that, in the kind of people you're trying to help and getting through challenges. Was there any correlation for you?
It is symbolic. Climbing a mountain, there are a lot of challenges, mental challenges, emotional challenges involved in climbing a mountain. I've done it before, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I know that climbing a mountain, it takes a lot of energy out of you. It takes a lot of passion as well, and belief in yourself. And in the same vein, these women are going through similar challenges, emotional challenges, mental challenges, to climb out of their present situation. So that correlation between the challenge of climbing a mountain and the women climbing out of their present situation. So yeah, there was this, it is a symbolic thing.
And James, I want to know, what's been your role in the whole process?
Oh, well, basically, we sat down and we looked at this idea, and together we said, but wait, hold on, there's something we can actually do here. We can tie this whole climb, your passion for doing adventures, into something larger than just climbing and doing adventures and stuff. And then she immediately keyed into the fact that, yes, she's been very passionate about doing something for displaced women, the less privileged. And together we came up with this idea. I said, why don't you do something symbolic for your 50th birthday and then do it, climb Kilimanjaro to raise funds for IDP. So together, the idea came together.
Remy, I can imagine you've been to the IDP camps. And what are some of the stories and the experiences that you've witnessed, or the things that you've heard from women and children there?
Oh, it's an unimaginable thing in the camps, because we see this footage on TV, and it's not really the same. It's not really the same. There are loads of children who really don't have any shoes. Some of them are even naked, no clothes, malnutrition. And then the women, the women do everything, because we went to a particular settlement, and in a settlement, the women actually fend for themselves. They provide their own food, so they go to the land, they do the farming. So you can imagine women feeding their children from the land. They don't have milk. They don't have all the essential minerals and vitamins for the children to grow properly, for the children that have stunted growth. There are no sanitary conditions in the camps. It's an appalling state. It's very emotional. And that's why it was very important for us to show people, especially people in the South, that look, in the same country, not far away from us, people are suffering through no fault of their own. They didn't ask to be displaced from their natural habitat.
Now, you mentioned that you hadn't been to those parts of the country prior to this experience. And a lot of the time, we feel as though, displacement camps are they're foreign things. They're things that don't happen amongst us. How did some of them get to that situation? And I need you to talk about this for people who may not know how they became displaced persons.
Well, a lot of the displaced persons are displaced from the Boko Haram war. But displaced persons can be from floods or anything. But a lot of the people in the camps that we visited were displaced because of the war. So maybe their house was bombed or was burned, or they had to flee because of the war. And the government has really provided quite a bit for these women and children and men. But the emphasis is that government can't do it all. They just simply don't have the resources. We need to pitch in and do our bit. And the only way we can get to do our bit is if we're aware of what's happening. And that's why we're trying to draw awareness to this plight. And I really like the fact that we were able to go to the camp, because if I hadn't been to the camp, I wouldn't have any idea what's going on there. And a lot of us in the South are like that. We just see what we're shown on TV, and that's not necessarily what's actually the situation. So it's about bringing awareness to people in the South and other people that, look, this thing is happening. How can we help? How can we do something about it? It's not just a government problem. This is a problem for everyone.
These kinds of situations definitely have a profound effect on an individual when you come close to it. And for someone who's turning 50 as well, which is, I'm sure, is also a very reflective place for you in your life. I want to know what this experience has done, visiting those camps and wanting to do this climb to raise awareness, because you're clearly very intertwined with this cause as well.
Well, To be honest, being reflective as you grow older, I mean, I think one of my friends said to me, Remy, when you get to certain ages, you just think back, and there's certain things that mean more to you. You want to give back more than you want to get, because in giving back, you know that you're contributing to the reward of seeing people's lives change by what you've done is just immense. And I think it's something everybody, you don't have to get to a certain age to do it. I think it's something a lot of Nigerians should consider. Charity being charitable is not something we naturally do. And I think it's something we should all start imbibing.
James, with the awareness you've created, what are you guys hoping to do? And what are you hoping to provide for the people in the camps?
Basically, before we came up with this whole idea to climb Remy, I actually did a couple of documentaries around several of the camps in the north. And just to add to what Remy said about the internally displaced persons, I think, yeah, predominantly most of them are found in the north. But also you have internally displaced persons in pockets of places in the south. You know, you have people displaced by ethnic clashes, you have people displaced by natural disasters. So with all the awareness we're trying to create, what we're trying to do is actually to create a culture, to start a tradition, just like Pay It Forward, something like that. And every day I think of how can we right here start this culture of thinking about our brothers, our neighbors, and not just thinking about ourselves and stuff. I'm not a privileged person. I'm from the bottom. I'm from the grass. From the grass, we started from the bottom, like Drake and all that. So I can identify with what it means to struggle. So what I'm saying is, when you're having your breakfast, your lunch, your supper, think about your neighbor. Think about these internally displaced women and children, and think of what you can do for them. It's a continuous thing. We expect to last for years. Let it be a culture. We shouldn't be having people displaced anymore. You know.
Wow, I mean, your stories are so inspiring, and just the fact that you're really, really, kicking that message home about how we need to be more aware of our surroundings, the things that are happening around us, and being our brother's keeper. And that's really what Airtel Touching Lives is about.
Absolutely.
Ultimately. And I want to say thank you so much for doing this, for climbing, and then I know that you're going to climb many more mountains and raise so much more funds as well. And to James for documenting this process too. I want to say thank you so much. Airtel really appreciates what you're doing, and we would like to support you with awareness to help raise funds for what you're doing for the IDPs all over the country. And we would also like to support you with 10 million naira.
That's
It's like your eyes light up there.
It will do a lot.
How does it feel? What does this mean to you, and what do you think it's going to do for you?
Oh, this is amazing. This is indescribable, because it will help a lot. It will help immensely to bring awareness to this plight, and to help the IDPs see the next and the next and the next day. So, and I think more importantly, it's the message that we all have to come together as Nigerians to help our fellow brothers and help everybody. It's not somebody else's problem. It's our problem. We're all Nigerians. We need to help each other. So yeah, this will go a long way to sending that message and to helping all the IDPs. Thank you very much, Airtel.
Thank you so much. It's been a fantastic day right here at the Airtel Touching Lives studio. And of course, you got the message, which is we need to be our brothers and sisters' keeper. Until next time, it's Airtel Touching Lives.